Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It got to be because of COVID, but travel is more popular than ever right now. And I'm happy we have our travel expert. He's back with us. And today we're going to talk about cruises. We're going to talk about wine and whatever else comes up. David Fishman from Cadillac Travel is back with us. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Steve? Doing great today.
Doing well. Yeah, thanks. Cruises. I had a whole conversation the other day with a bunch of people over my place, and everybody's different take on a cruise, the different packages. And I found myself, it's been a while since I cruised. I'm thinking, well, it's getting kind of confusing now. You know, I really have to do my homework or hire somebody like you to just take care of everything, which is the way I would go because I don't want to deal with it. Just
yeah,
do it.
First of all, there are a lot of ships out now and they're making a lot more because cruising has just become hugely popular. I mean, during COVID, obviously we had that. It's like, oh my God, we can't go. It's like a floating, COVID den of, everyone's just going to get COVID. Yep. The irony is cruises were the first ones to be the hand sanitizers. They were the first ones that had it everywhere. Before you got on board the ship, before you went in any restaurant, they were the first one to have hand sanitizer. They're the first one to have hand washing stations before you get into the buffet areas and things along those lines. But they've always had this bad rap. In particular, I went on a cruise, it got norovirus, okay, i.e. some gastrointestinal food type poisoning situation. Here's the statistics on it. I've been dealing with this for years. More people get sick on a daily basis going out to restaurants by far than on a cruise ship. By far. But the difference is on a cruise ship, it's 100 people. It's a story. There's 10 people, 20 people, 100 people in a restaurant. No one knows about it. There's no story there. So the squash thing, it's the cleanest, it's the safest place to be. Because last time I checked, you want to go on a family vacation and you're worried that someone might get to your kid. I don't know how many people are swimming up to the ship to get to your family. I don't know. too much swimming to get to. And plus getting on and off every single time, there's a picture. So it's just really safe. But there are the different cruise lines will fit different people, just like anything else. Like the Royal Caribbeans and are very family oriented, princess family oriented. Holland America is a little bit older segment, celebrity, like modern luxury, beautiful, incredible ships. Then you get in the Carnival, the fun ships, and more of a party type atmosphere. So everything, there's something for everybody, but it's an amazing experience. I think it's the greatest vacation you can take because it's most relaxing. It's just pick and choose. It's a big giant menu and you pick and choose and you just don't have to keep reaching into your pocket. Okay, I'm going to go gamble. Oh, I'm done gambling. I'm going to go see a show. Oh, I'm tired of the show. I'm going to go dancing, Latin dancing. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go to the disco. Oh, there's so much to do and you don't have to keep reaching into your pocket.
Yeah.
And even now, as we were talking before, they were going even to a more all-inclusive model. They were saying, which one has the different drink packages or the gratuities included or excursions or additional shipboard credits to use for different spas and things along those lines. So you'll see that model continuing that they're going to go to more all-inclusive. But there's really something out there for everyone. And I'll even go farther. You can go ship where there's 100 people, like the sailing ships, like the Windstar ships or the small old Seaboard ship that Windstar has. I'm going away. Next time people have to come with me, but I'm going to the Baltics on Thursday for 12 days, 9 different countries. Incredible, leaving on London to Paris to the Netherlands, Estonia, Finland, Denmark, Stockholm. Just an incredible journy. And it's great because you get a taste and then you go, you know what, I'm going to go back because I want to spend more time there. But you don't have to unpack.
By the way, I've been on the Windstar many years ago. I'm talking 20 plus and great experience, in terms of how much staff to passengers. It's just, but a whole different experience. So a couple of things come into mind. And I want to go over your cruise in just a moment.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what the perceptions that are out there. Like I'll hear from friends who say, I can't go cruising. I can't go on vacation. It's hurricane season. I don't even think about that. Doesn't even come into my mind. I've been on cruises with perfect weather. Be honest with you, it was a Carnival cruise many years ago on that one, and we hit our storm. So it was a little rough, you know, it's like could happen
Okay.
anytime, anywhere.
Here's the thing. Would you allow your close to $1 billion ship, $700 million ships? You know, these ships are incredible. Would you let it go into a hurricane? No, not so much. So what you'll see is when you're on a ship and maybe there is a hurricane that might end the path or be around where you're supposed to go, they'll just go to someplace else. So your itinerary may change, but it's always going to be very safe. And a lot of times I've even been on board the ship where I looked like 100 yards off to the side. It's pouring and I'm laying in the sun having a pina colada.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's incredible. They know where the weather is. So it's great. They'll sail around for bad weather.
I said that was years ago when I encountered a storm. Honestly, there was a storm on the Windstar, and I remember it vividly. I'm coming to my point here. I was on a lower level. I actually saw the water over the porthole. Not even kidding. And then there was the Carnival ship where, you know, I walked, and like if you go on a dinner and you're like, whoa, whoa, but that was 25+ years ago. Different technology, different weather. You know, they, like you just said, David, they know when it's coming. They know where to go, more than ever.
Yeah, and so you got in some good thing with technology. Technology's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And the stabilizers on this ship, I mean, you don't feel a thing. I mean, some of the ships are literally floating islands or floating resorts, where the new Royal Caribbean ship, the latest one coming out, is just going to be crazy. The Icon, which we should I should do a show with you from there. I've been invited on the inaugural in January to go on the ship. But 2.5 times the perimeter around this ship is a mile. Do the math. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't even see the whole ship in 2 or 3 days. You need a week to see these ships because there's so much going on and so much on board. There's like 30 bars and restaurants, and a workout facility as large as anything you'll have at home, you know, like a Lifetime or Equinox. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But we were talking, I think I mentioned before, I went to Antarctica in February, March on a cruise ship, because it's really basically, they can fly there now, but it used to be all cruising. It's a 2-day crossing through the Drake Passage where the Atlantic and the Pacific meet. And it's like a ping pong ball in a washing machine. Our big waves, and mind you, the ship held 180 people. So it was not a big ship. Our big waves were 20 to 25 feet. 20 to 25 feet. That was just one crazy night. But the ship still was pretty darn stable. And you would think that thing should just be flying all over the place.
Right.
We should be, you know, but it was pretty stable. And when the normal times were 5 to 15 foot waves, it was completely, you know, like you didn't barely even notice. 5 to 15 foot waves, you didn't feel a thing.
Wow.
So these big ships, you feel nothing. Some of the smaller ships, still the stabilizers are amazing. And you know, the claustrophobic thing, get that one too. Oh, I'm going to feel closed in. They're huge, and a lot of outdoor dining now on them, and outdoor shows, and these different areas that are like little cities. It's incredible.
When somebody says closed in, what happens when you take a plane?
That's a sardine can.
That's
a cruise ship
right.
is not even near that. I mean, you're out in the middle. There's so much open space to enjoy, and it's amazing. You don't even know you're in a cruise ship a lot of times these days. You got to really force yourself outside to realize you're in the middle of the ocean.
And to your point, what resort are you going to go to where you have 30 bars and restaurants? Last time I checked, maybe the most at a resort I was at was like 10, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, even at the all-inclusives. I mean, the
Yeah.
amount of entertainment in particular on these ships, the comedians, the bands, the Broadway shows. I mean, the last ship I was on, I saw the show Six, and I saw Jersey Boys. I saw 2 major Broadway shows that were as good as any Broadway production I basically have seen, even on Broadway. So, I mean, that type of thing is incredible, to be in the middle of the ocean and have that.
And those people take it seriously. My friend's girlfriend is gone for months now, and it's her dream to be. She was in the medical field, and she's pretty young. She's in her 30s. She always wanted to be a stage producer. She's on a ship right now. That's what she's doing. loving it. Like it is the best. So these people really want to be there and really want to put on a great show for everybody else. It's not like they're, yeah, they're on vacation all the time. It's kind of fun. But they're very serious about what they do. Yeah.
Oh, the amount of entertainment or quality entertainment, people that are really talented is unbelievable. The difference between someone that's really famous half the time that's talented and the people that aren't famous is being at the right place at the right time.
Yep.
Even when you look in sports, top 100 tennis players, the top 10, you may know, you don't know the other 90.
And they're great.
But they're and on any given day, they're one of the best in the world. So these are the kind of things you don't realize. You're seeing some people that some have become very famous coming off of cruise ships.
Sure.
So yeah.
So let's go from cruises. I guess cruises could be still connected to wine. If you love wine, even if you're not a connoisseur, but you like trying wine in different areas, that's something else you can do on vacation, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, wine has become huge. I have to give Trader Joe's a lot of credit. I think Trader Joe's and the $2 Chuck really brought wine to the masses, shall I say, to find out that, and I've done wine tastings where I take the expensive bottle and the $2 Chuck, put them right next to each other, same, Cabernets, and have people taste it. And I'll tell you, more than half the time, they like the less expensive wine than the expensive wine, which is ironic. So wine, foodies and wine is just huge right now. So I've come, this year I give you your top 10 places to go, wineries around the world that you can go visit. And you'll be surprised by some. Some of them, are classic, but some of them you'll be really surprised. And the irony is in my top 10, I don't even have Napa Valley.
Wow.
How about that? There is a top 10 that will surprise people. In the first one, I'm going to go, here's my first one. Ready? Finger Lakes area in New York, upstate New York, the Finger Lakes here. When I was kind of doing some research going, I want to see what the top 10 are right now where people are going to. There's over 100 wineries, breweries, and distilleries. So it's kind of goes a little bit further than wineries in the lakes area. And these, Senectia, Cayuga, and those areas. It's the largest producers of wine east of California. You have to go all the way to the other coast. The largest producers of wine. It's because of how the climate is and everything.
I'm on Long Island, and if you head to the Hamptons, it's all wineries. On a regular basis, we always say, what do you want to do? Which winery you want to go to? So yes, New York area, weather is colder, upstate Finger Lake area, what we're talking about. But when it's wine growing season, it's comparable.
It's actually a mild winters they have there because of the water and how the topography is. But so they make some great wines there. So fantastic wines. So there's my number one that no one would ever think of is in upstate New York, Finger Lakes area, which Finger Lakes are beautiful, just beautiful to go in the summer and the fall. Incredible. Sure. Then the second one of the older ones, ironically, is the Douro Valley in Portugal. We always heard of the port wines. Obviously, they make fantastic port wines.
Sure.
Remains one of the favorite wine lovers place to go. And Portugal it is also one of the hotter spots in the world to visit right now. So plan ahead, but it's also fairly inexpensive, but I think they're catching on. So figure that out ahead of time, but it's still pretty good deal in Portugal. And the wines are amazing. And it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, some of the wine areas in the Douro Valley.
Wow. Okay.
So you're getting back into history and drinking some of the finest wines and great port wines there.
I just want to share before we get to number 3. I've got a friend who his family's from Portugal. He's on Long Island. He sells alcohol because of his family. It's not wine. You know what it is? Moonshine.
Oh, yeah.
He has a, little place you go out there on your way to the wineries. It's right actually in the middle of the wineries. And it's moonshine. And people think, if it's 2 old men, with big copper kettles and everything. No, there's so many different flavors. So it's funny you mentioned Portugal. A lot of things come out of Portugal. You probably find moonshine there too.
Moonshine. I mean, it's so funny because everyone's making their own wines and beers and things nowadays. And they've been making moonshine forever, as we know. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So that's pretty wild. And it's
delicious.
Firewater, as I like to call it.
Well, but it's not your grandfather's moonshine. Now it's, hot apple pie, moonshine. You mix that with other stuff, like you can make a keto with that. I mean, it's
Oh,
good stuff. Oh
wow.
yeah. Oh, there's blueberry, there's coffee, moonshine. Not even kidding.
Wow. See,
Oh yeah.
that's what's so fun.
Yeah.
Everything's become flavored nowadays, even the
Yeah.
wines themselves. It's irony because one of the places makes a great peach wine.
Mm,
So, and that's unique in itself.
wow.
So, yeah. So number three is one that everyone knows, Tuscany. Tuscany is just, I mean, it's just so massive. It's the largest wine producer in, it's outside of Napa Valley. It's
Yeah.
just huge. 320 wine regions themselves, different wine regions, 350 grape varieties. It's just massive. I mean, they got those great Giovanni grapes, that red
Mm,
wines that get your Chiantis, your Bruno Montesinos and their Montalcinos, and oh,
wow.
it's awesome. Just fantastic wines. So it really, I mean, and I spent a week there just traveling around, staying in this big villa with a bunch of friends, which you can do pretty inexpensively, believe it or not, and
Mm.
just driving to all the little towns and to the little wineries. It just always an incredible journey. I love it in the fall, not as crowded, weather's perfect, great time to go. So Tuscany, number three on my list. Now here's a fun one: New Zealand.
Would have
A
never
little bit
thought.
farther to go. Fantastic wines. It's the Otago area. Okay, it's in the South Island of New Zealand, and they have fantastic wines. They're famous for their Pinot Noirs. I don't know if you ever had New Zealand Pinot Noirs.
Hmm.
The red Zimps are really great too in New Zealand. Fantastic. Also in South America, great red Zimps. And it's so picturesque down there. And New Zealand's one of, I mean, I know a lot of people during COVID, they go, we're leaving this country with all the different things going on. A lot of people want to go to New Zealand. They don't let you in. They like it themselves. You can come visit, but you can't stay. Great
Wow.
place. New Zealand, fantastic. So that's number four on my list. Then we're staying in the same area, Australia, the McLaren Vale area of Australia. Okay, so that one is a little bit. So it's the birthplace of wine. It's in South Australia. Okay, and they've been producing wine there for 180 years. Okay,
Wow.
fantastic wines. And it's by Adelaide on the coast. So once again, it's that coastal thing, it's that warm weather, and they make some great Shirazes, Cabernets, um, and flavors that are kind of different in the same variety, but different type of grape flavors that you wouldn't find other places. So it's kind of unique. So that's why that one pops up on my list of fun ones to go to.
You know what I'm thinking of too, and we didn't really get deeper into it, but when you go to a winery, you are getting, no pun intended, local flavor. There's
Yeah.
somebody local. It could be a family just owns this one little winery. You're meeting them, you're learning about their culture, language barriers maybe go away depending on where you go, as you enjoy what they're proud of. So it's like a win all around.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite winery experiences was I was in Amalfi in Ravello, and we went over, at Mount Vesuvius, at kind of like the base, and he goes, "I got this great place to go have lunch, this winery." It was someone's house. There was a little winery like in the basement.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm eating lunch with pasta with these tomatoes growing in the old ash from Mount Vesuvius. That the sauce was so sweet and incredible. So it's a
Oof.
certain type of tomato that's off the charts. And the kids are coming home from school. I'm drinking wine. Kids are coming home from school. They're eating lunch next to me, having their pasta. It was such
I
an
love it. That's
incredible experience.
I love it. That's a vacation. That is truly what, I think embodies if you want to be part of the culture and you bring back memories. Like I was in the Caribbean in a cocoa farm and I'm in somebody's house. It's just we walked in, they're cutting it up a little bit and just it's so quaint and you learn so much and it's real. It's not like you're on an excursion type tour.
Yeah, you're not going to, like Mondavi or one of the big wineries like in Napa where it's just really commercialized.
Exactly.
Someone's house. I was like, I was in Vietnam in Da Nang, and I had lunch in someone's backyard. The next door, the roosters that they bred for cockfighting are just like running around, and and we're like cooking it over open fire, and just an unbelievable experience sitting in their backyard. Just those experiences is what we're talking about, is what the travel's all about, is finding those unique experiences to bring back and talk about for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And
So,
you're talking about it, and I am, because as the memories are flooding back, as you and those tomatoes, oh, what I would give. I bought tomato sauce. It was on sale. I literally threw out 2 jars. It was so bad. I'll eat pretty much anything. It was so bad. And yeah, and hearing what you got there is like, oh, from the ash. Oh.
well, it's the other thing people don't realize is when they go to Europe, and it's been really popular this summer, there's no grocery stores. People don't realize it. There's this little markets. Same thing when I was in Asia. There's no like supermarkets. They don't exist. There's markets. I mean, there's giant markets, but they're more like little stands that each individual bring their food. It's like a farmer's market, is all the markets. So the food is always fresh, always fresh. There's very little preservative. So it just tastes different. It's really special and unique.
And safe and healthy for you, because our food chain is let's not get into it, but tainted with pesticides and it's horrible.
Yeah, they're growing it with, as I love it when you're in Italy and you go in the restaurant and there's a green bottle of wine on the table. And grandma just stomped on the grapes this morning, and there's your wine on the table. I mean, that's literally what a lot of the trattorias, the little tiny restaurants in Italy, that alone is worth the price of admission. By the way, never get a headache drinking wine in Europe. Another reason, no sulfites, no preservatives in the wine. That's why most people get headaches. Little things like that. I just love people. Drink the wine. It's just you'll feel great.
What does that taste like? Don't even know.
Yeah.
All right. Don't want to run out of time. We get a couple of minutes, so we're up to number.
Couple more. Yep. So I'll finish my top 10. I'll blaze through a little bit. Bordeaux, obviously legendary wines in Bordeaux, the best, some of the oldest vineyards in the world, world-class regions. And the other thing about going into France is the only place, Champagne is the only place to call it champagne. Otherwise, call it sparkling wine, which people don't realize. So that's not really champagne. It's the same, made the same way, but they have the champagne in France, and they got that in the Bordeaux region as well. I'm going to throw out a fun one. Okay. South Africa, Walker Bay.
Wow. Wouldn't have thought.
Yep. No one would have thought about that. It's in the Western province of South Africa, about an hour away from Cape Town. And they have some great Pinot Noirs, Chardonnays. They have some great whites there. Sauvignon Blancs. You'll see those. If you go to the store, you'll see the Sauvignon Blancs from South Africa. Fantastic. So there's a fun ones too. And Syrahs. And then I'll end it with a couple more. We'll do Roja in Spain. Spanish wines have always been great. We usually make our sangrias out of it, but they actually have some excellent wines. They actually call that area the Chattanooga Valley in Chile. Okay. In the Rappel Valley by there in, I'm sorry, I flipped to Chile. That was my next one. Chile is another one that's in Napa Valley, in that area that's in the valley, the central area of Chile. Great wines, great cabs, fantastic cabs and Syrahs there. And they're the ones that make the orange wines and the peach wines. Some great orange and peach wines there. And I'm going to throw in one more, Austria. Wachu, Austria. Great rolling hill. It's so pretty there, by the way. Oh my God. Another UNESCO site in Austria. By the way, had the best sparkling wine in Vienna in Austria. Went there where they I was making champagne or sparkling wine. Another amazing experience for the night. And I'm going to throw one more fun one. There's an area in Japan that makes great wines. It's Kyushu Valley. So if you want to go, because Japan's become hot too, you want to go and have a unique experience. Personally, I want to go drink sake there. But if you want to go to the wine areas, then that's another one in Kyushu Valley in Japan. So that's my 10 / with a bonus round with Japan. I'll throw in a little Kyushu Valley in there.
Super interesting. And I would have never thought the Finger Lakes region of New York State. Like, maybe breweries. All right, I got that. I love beer as well. There's a few up there that, I can name. but wine, wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah. You know what? It actually surprised me too. And it's funny. There's an area in Michigan where I'm from, up north. They call it the Leelanau Peninsula, and they got some great wineries, amazing ice wine up there, as they call it, incredible wines. And so that's it seems like every part in every state has their own little wine region, but some great wineries, and it's become a very popular part. Food and wine, it's throwing some bread and it's all good. Little cheese. We're good to go.
That's a vacation.
Yeah.
And
Put
that's
your charcuterie board and get on the cruise ship, and then we can cruise to the different wineries. What the heck?
And charcuterie board's more popular than ever right now. Just had one at my place on last Saturday, and we were talking about cruises. Not even kidding. But this is why you hire a travel professional, because they have the knowledge, the inside information, the connections with airlines, with resorts, and all of that. It's the way it was back in the day. We're getting back to it, and with good reason, because it's so impersonal, just going online and not even knowing what the choices that you're making. David, what's a website for your company?
So it's www.cadillactravel.com. You can contact us by 248-358-5330, 1-800-369-TRIP-8747, or you can email us at info@cadillactravel.com, or you can get in touch with me at david@cadillactravel.com. Like I said, I got over 600 years of travel destination knowledge in this office. So, I mean, boots on the ground, people that have been there. I have the relationships with people all over the place, and I continue. As I said, I'm going on my trip on Thursday, going to 9 countries. I've been to a few of them, but going to Normandy in France, going to Stockholm, going up to Berlin. So, I mean, to have these experiences, to share them with everyone is awesome. So I can create great experiences for them as well. That's what it's all about.
I wish you a great trip. Take one for the team, my friend. Take one for the team.
I'll do my best. Okay. And I'll be about 8 or 10 pounds heavier because it's 3-star Michelin chefs on board the ship. It's going to be some really good dining. So
yeah, definitely got to hear about that when you get back. And as always, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Steve. I'll see you soon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.